Good afternoon, good evening, and good day. Good morning to those of you on the West Coast. What does that find me? Interesting. The the angle that the camera's looking at is not what I expected. Um, got a show for you today that's got some news in it. We'll see if anybody shows up as a co-host, and if they do, we'll pop them in. Let me turn off of this studio mode because we don't need it anymore. Well, I mean, we do, but not right now. We've got some recalls. We've got some news. We've got some bulletins, and when I should have been practicing my Python homework yesterday, I was writing some proposals. So we may be back on track for a project that I was going to do about a year and a half ago that we kind of put on the back burner. More details to come as we get closer to the first steps. Uh, so no promises. It could hit another snag and be gone for another year. Who knows? But let's go on over to our presentation view and get started. All right. Let me make sure that you guys can hear me. And we're going to go on over to unmute this. Perfect. I should have done that sooner. All right. I'm going to assume that chat is working, but I see no proof of that just yet. All right. So this one was originally a bulletin when I put it in the list. It is no longer a bulletin. It is now a full-blown recall. So as you can see here, Cybertruck deliveries halted due to accelerator pedal issue. Updated. Deliveries resumed. And well, no. It goes further. There's more to this story. All right, so Tesla informed several Cybertruck reservation holders of delays in delivery schedules. Several modifications were or notifications were posted on the Cybertruck Owners Club stating the need to postpone the scheduled deliveries due to an unexpected delay without initially providing details and explanations to the customers. Oh, no, this one was fully updated. Then there was a bulletin about that the pedal cover could slip off on the Cybertruck. That's the X video showing that. And the problem with the cover to the pedal slipping off is, as we can see at the top of this frame, is that the pedal cover could pin the pedal at wide open throttle, if you will. Lightning pedal will be jammed at full Thor. And while the brake pedal will override and cancel out the accelerate command, if you don't push the brake pedal or if you panic, that could pose a serious danger. So the bulletin was later upgraded to a recall of almost 4,000 Cybertrucks that have been delivered so far. Temporarily, they put a rivet in the bottom of the cover through the pedal, through the back, so that it actually has something to clamp onto. Not that it didn't have something to clamp onto before, but Tesla says that there was a soap, aka a lubricant, that allowed the pedal cover to slip off if you pushed it just the right way. And apparently it's been corrected already in production. So after the parts become available, they'll remove the rivet and uh, replace your cover with one that won't slide. All right, so that was easy enough. What is this coming soon? Elon Musk provides updates on ParkSeek, major architectural improvements on route. Let's open that. It's not on the list, but that's interesting. What else they have there? Well, the next FSD update will be available on 2024.8. This morning, as I got up, I saw that the FSD 12.3.5 has started shipping. I have not yet received any notification that my car has downloaded that. I was attempting to, but mine usually come in the middle of the night. So if I'm in the first batch, it'll be tonight before I know. All right. Was there anything else here that was interesting before I get back on schedule now that I've been thoroughly squirrel distracted by sidebar? Confirmed by Elon. Take a look at features that Elon has said will be coming soon. Nah, I'm fine. He says a lot of stuff. I mean, yeah, this is important how to restart your car. I've made several videos on that. Just hold down the scroll wheels. Then the screen will restart. It's that simple. All right, so there's a picture of what it looks like with the rivet in it when it's been completed the recall. This is a completely different article than the one I put in the notebook earlier in the week. The lubricant residue. All right, stand by. I'm turn the fan in here. It's quite warm. Ah, I've got my phone on the screen, so I will do this. All right, continuing on. We're going to look at let's look at that article that distracted me before we get on with the regularly scheduled broadcast. Elon Musk provides updates on ParkSeek. He called it Banish, as we talked about earlier. This is from last year, so we're not going to continue on. Let's go back on schedule. And all right, so that's number one. Number two should be, if it goes in the right window, let me click it to be sure. It doesn't mean it will do what I told it to do, but it means it should do what we expect it to. All right, let me make sure this thing doesn't seem to be running. If it's not running, nobody can join us. No, it's running. They changed the way it looks. Whatever. Hey, Anders. Good evening. Good to see you. All right. So this one was really cool to me. It's coming through Slashdot. So let's go ahead and click on through. But the important part is uh, that California exceeds 100% of energy demand with renewables for over a record 30 days. It's the same story we heard over and over again, starting with England, moving on to Germany and other places in Europe. And I've said each time it's going to be a matter of time before it happens here. I didn't think it would be years before it happened here, but here we are. It's happened in California, and it's only going to continue. It's actually happened a couple times for a couple hours in Texas, and it has happened for a couple hours and minutes before here in California. But pretty soon this will be just the way it is. All right, so let's click into it and see. Oh, but what if the sun's not shining or the wind's not blowing? Well, I'm sure that happens several times over 30 days. Close this extra tab, that way we don't find ourselves resource constrained. And wow, this is tiny. Do I want to zoom it? Let's try zooming it. That didn't work. That worked. Oof. Getting into phone view territory. Oh, that just put it behind my face. So I'm gonna have to read it on the bottom screen anyway. Anonymous reader quotes a report from Electric. A major clean energy benchmark with wind, solar, and hydro exceeded 100% demand of California's main grid for 30 days of the past 38 days. That's incredible. Stanford University professor and civil environmental engineering, Mark Z. Jacobson, has been tracking California's renewable performance, and he shares his findings on X, where when the state breaks records. Okay. Jacobson notes that the supply exceeds demand for 0.25 to 6 hours per day, and that's an important fact. So 15 minutes to 6 hours a day. Okay, yeah, that's good. So for the last 38 days, so I'm guessing they were like either incredible demand or incredible blocking weather for the 8 days that it didn't do. The continuity lies not in renewables running the grid for an entire day, but the fact that it's happening on a consistent daily basis, which has never been achieved before. There we go. So on April 2nd, the independent operator recommended 26 new transmission projects worth $6.1 billion, which is with a big number being, why'd you jump? The big number being devoted to offshore wind. And I don't understand the objections to offshore wind. Like, you can't see it. It's the best of both worlds. You get the thing and you don't have to see it. Continuing on, we've got another X post. Here we go. Closed last time. This one states, Huge permitting reform news. The Bureau of Land Management is giving geothermal energy exploration a categorical exclusion from environmental review under the NEPA. If you care about clean energy abundance, this is a massive win. So then he has a screenshot of the announcement. BLM adopts categorical exclusions to expedite geothermal energy permitting. And what that's going to allow them to do is uh, they don't have to do the environmental review assessment for many of these types of geothermal energy projects, which will definitely speed it up because we've seen how long environmental reviews can affect things like rocket launches and new solar farms and any number of things like that. So as long as they are taking care, the damage should be minimal. We can't necessarily guarantee they are taking care, which is why they reserve the right to change their minds on these things. If Congress won't act, the administration can by adopting an executive CE. Under NEPA, agencies can adopt categorical exclusions for activities that do not have a significant impact on the environment. The Biden administration has categorically excluded a host of surface level development on previously disturbed lands. So it's already been messed with. So what we're doing by putting a couple tunnel bore or a couple of pipe bores in is not going to make it any worse. Approved. Don't ask us again. To be clear, the bill would be good for Congress to pass this. It would be good for Congress to pass this bipartisan geothermal bill. But glad to see the executive branch doing what it can in the meantime. And yes, so the reason it's important to then change this and pass it as a actual law is that you don't have somebody coming in later and then just striking through with a pen and messing this all up. And let's see, we've got another chat that I am unable to see on this screen. I see it, but I can't read it on the screen because it's my failure to go and fix that. There we go. So saying good evening here on X2. Awesome. Good to see you there. And what I need to do is have like a studio view on X and Facebook next to the YouTube one. There we go. So good news for more clean energy. Now we're going to look at a new Mercedes. So Mercedes updates the 2025 EQS sedan with better range, new grille, and a standing star emblem. You know, that classic snatchable hood ornament on the top, which I thought they'd phased out, but apparently their customers really love it, and it has come back. It looks so out of place on that car. The new grille I like, but the emblem, I would probably actually have them switch it for the flat one they used to have, or remove it altogether. I don't know. I'm not really into Mercedes myself. The 2025 model year is came to the US as a 2022 model year in 2021. Oh yeah, this is somewhat important. It's got the level 3 autonomous certification. So what that means is on specified roads, in specified conditions, such as under 40 miles an hour, in heavy traffic, on a particular road, the car will allow you to take your eyes and hands out of the driving position. So you'll be able to like read your phone or read a newspaper and not hold the wheel. And since it's now technically Mercedes driving your car, you will be on Mercedes insurance. And the car has to warn you when it's time to switch back to human pilot. So it'll beep at you, and then you put your phone or newspaper away, and then you get your hands on the wheel, and then you transition into human pilot, or at least lane keep assist with cruise control back into level 2. It's not that exciting, other than the fact that it's here in the States, not just in Germany or Japan, like we saw previously with the Honda version and then the other implementation of the Mercedes version. As far as what people actually expect from level 3 driving, this ain't it, Chief. Not in the least. Not unless you spend a lot of time in gridlock on those specific roads in those specific conditions. but it's better than nothing. I don't know how much they charge for it, but I bet it's a lot. Just because I've seen the options list on Mercedes and Porsche when you go through to spec out an EV, it's quite a menu. It's extensive. Um, let's see. For 2025, they brought the standing star back. That's not important at all. I mean, there it is in the picture. It's got a larger battery pack, and they've got more interior comfort. It's tough to match. And now they finally added the 0.2 inches of foam to the back headrest. This car is on my list to consider, says a Model 3 owner. Well, with a name like that, I don't imagine you actually in their target demographic, but I get your point. So one of the items they listed in here is they added 0.2 inches of foam to make it. Here it is. The optional Pinnacle trim, executive interior packages, features a front passenger seat that can fold forward to provide additional space for the second row passengers. You know, if you have a driver and you ride in the back. A new backrest for the rear seats that can be adjusted up to 38 degrees. Rapid heating rear seats, neck and shoulder heating for rear passengers. Are they going for China with this? Because that's and it's not a. You see a lot of this in the manufacturers when they are targeting the China market, where they focus on chauffeured customers, and so they start to focus a lot more on what's going on in the back seat. Illuminated trim accents integrated into the back of the front seats. Chrome accents have been added to the climate control vents on the B pillars. Rear comfort pillows have been enhanced with contrast stitching and Napa leather piping, and an additional 0.2 inches of foam has been added to the rear seat backrest. So I think a Model 3 owner there was joking around, but there it is. And something that's not listed in this one, I had to find somewhere else, and I found to be interesting, because you don't typically think of a Mercedes owner as doing any of this in their sedans, at least not from a U.S.-centric view. So probably would never see it in the U.S., but it's a lot more common in Europe to do this with a sedan. The tow rating has been upgraded to 1,700 kilograms towing capacity, edging out the Model Y and the 22-inch equipped Model X 22-inch wheels. So if I had gone for the big bling bling wheels, this car would out tow my SUV, and I went for the 20-inch wheels, so still not having a car out tow me. At least not a modern one. Quite sure you probably find something from the 70s with a truck frame just dusting me. Okay, so that's the end of the Mercedes. I just thought it was a little palate cleanser. Let's move on to something more fun, or not. I don't know where we're going next. I did not put them in any order other than where I found them. All right, so this one is from Tesla. Your Tesla gets better while you sleep. Highlights from our upcoming spring release are below. This one got a lot of people mad. I've got a post for that. Your Tesla gets better while you sleep. So visual updates. Model 3 and Model Y with the AMD chip. You get immersive full screen vehicle controls when parked, so it's going to look a lot more like the Cybertruck, but not in the cyberpunk style. It's going to be in the typical Tesla style. Large playback and playback controls and quick access to recent favorites, and up next in media player. Up next. Not like, but like, this is what's next. Expandable autopilot driving visualizations with a smaller map in the top right corner for trip guidance. That actually doesn't look bad there. I like to be able to see what's going on, but I don't necessarily need half or a quarter of the screen, like a full quarter width of the screen dedicated to the map if I'm not driving. But I do want to be able to see if the daggum thing is making wrong turns, because sometimes it does that. It do be like that sometimes. That looks nice. It looks really nice. But again, only if you have an AMD chip, not the Intel guys. You get Auto Shift Beta for the Model S and X 2021 and later. So this is the Palladium cars. And you might say, well, Auto Shift Beta was already there. Yes, it was, but it's been changed. So now Auto Shift Beta can also shift between drive and reverse based on your surroundings, in addition to shifting out of park. So before, you'd push your foot on the brake, and if you were in park, then the car would get out of park and put itself in drive or reverse based on hints and cues, what it could see around it, as well as if it couldn't tell what it should be doing based on cues, it would just do the opposite of what you did to get there. So if you drove in, it would shift to reverse. Uh, or if you drove in and now there's a car behind you, it would still shift into drive, because that would be something that mine would have issue with, where I reverse into spots, but if I can come in and drive into the spot going across the lane, which I know in some places will get you in trouble, but it shouldn't. Anyway, I drive across through to the lane so my nose is facing out as if I had reversed in, but I rolled in, and now there's a car behind me, so I push my foot on the brake, and it would then continue to shift to drive rather than shifting into reverse to counteract what I did to get there. But now, say you're doing a K turn or a 3-point turn. Hopefully, if this works the way that they describe, once you turn on the setting, the car will then say, "Hey, you're out of road. You've pushed the brake. Here, let's shift into reverse. Oh, hey, you've done your reverse maneuver. You've hit the brake. Let's shift into drive and get out of the way." We'll have to wait for somebody to demonstrate this for us, because I don't have one of these vehicles. Audible. This one doesn't have a disclaimer next to it, so it looks like we all get this, at least MCU 2 and up. Sorry, I don't expect MCU 1 to get this anytime soon. I do expect this to show up in MCU 1 because it's a media app, so why not? It's not audio media like with video, it's audiobooks. But anyway, Audible is now available as a native media app. Spotify queue and playback speed. You can now sync your Spotify queue across vehicles and devices and adjust playback speed. Hopefully, it also includes some of the new features that the app has included that the car is still missing. The DJ isn't the greatest, but I enjoy not having to fuddle around with the stuff. It generally picks a good selection of stuff that I would be interested in listening to. I do skip a lot more than I normally do, but at least I'm not having to sit there and adjust a playlist while I try to drive. All right. You can, we did that. Hands-free trunk for the Model S and X 2021 and later, and the upgraded Model 3. This one, I argue, just like Remote Sentry View, should also apply to the legacy cars, because at least the Model X, because every Model X pays close attention to where that key fob is around the car, because that's how it knows whether or not it should swing out the driver's door, and how aggressively. Because if you're coming from the front towards the driver's door, it's going to just pop so that you can actually get around it. If you're coming from the rear towards the driver's door, it swings that bad boy as open as far as it can based on if it senses anything parked next to you, like a wall, a thick bollard, or another car. Although that scares some people because they're not paying attention to what they're doing when they approach the car, and at least 2 people have had their doors sheared off because they came running at the car while traffic is coming, and the door flung open into traffic, and it was gone. I don't see myself having that problem because I'm always paying attention to what's going on around me and how I'm approaching the car. There were 2 instances where I turned it off temporarily just because of the environment around where I was, and it was annoying to keep closing it. I think it was a situation where we were on vacation, and the only way out into the yard was to go past the car, and I still had my key on me, and rather than leave the key inside, I just turned off the auto open door, and then we could walk past the car without wanting to go for a ride. Uh, Even more so now that I've got a little munchkin running around, I'm mindful that she's not running ahead of me, and then the door is trying to just slam open into her. It doesn't open with great force. Um, it would be enough to knock her down because she wouldn't be braced for it. But yeah, so I have practice of not having it open into the street and fall off. Uh, but back to all of that. So because the car knows where you are, this should work with the key fob. What they're using is the ultra wideband sensors and the phone tracking to, if you kind of hover around behind the trunk, it'll open up. And so this will only happen on the Highland Model 3 and the Palladium S and X. You go into vehicle settings, locks, hands-free trunk. All right, so this one is nice for those of you that have remote sentry view, because Tesla hasn't decided to blame it on your screen. as if the screen is on and has anything to do with our phones. We're all using the same phone app. Let me get off my soapbox from being salty. Uh, preview a brief clip of Sentry Mode recordings on your phone if an alarm has been triggered by pressing and holding the notification. So you'll see this picture, and if you wanted to watch what this guy is doing with your car, you push and hold the notification, and you can see a clip of what he's up to. And if you want to go bother with it, or if you want to just summon the authorities. I imagine if you're getting bipped, you might want to just go. Hey, get out of here. Increased regenerative braking on highway. This one I've seen reported where they did not specify that it is for the Palladium Model S and X only. So with this one, at high speeds, your vehicle now allows for more regenerative braking, meaning more energy can return to the battery. This is not applied to any of the Model 3s or Ys or any of that. It's only the Palladium cars. Apparently they weren't regenning enough, and now they are. But it is similar to the way the braking performance was improved on Model 3 when it was first launched. Software update. Only it's regen instead of physical brakes. Are we there yet? Rear passengers can now see the current trip details, time, and temperature at the top of the rear touchscreen. That's a nice little touch. Assuming your kid can read. Tomorrow is Earth Day. Also, Moto's birthday. So I guess I don't need to go find it. This guy says, Shansu Bian says, I cry in Intel powered Model 3. And I said, welcome to Legacy. And I picked this GIF of, join us. You guys have already been started down this path, but now you get to feel salty with me. Some of these items, there is absolutely no reason for them not to be on all of the cars. As if, hey, we give you all these little nicks about just little features that your car can already do, and maybe you'll buy a new one. That's just how it feels when they do this to me. Not to me personally, but to me, that's how I interpret what they're up to. It's like, hey, they're trying to sell cars. So what they should do is every now and then just say, hey, this update, you'll get it, but if you want some of the cool stuff, you're going to give us $20. Okay, $20 is a lot cheaper than a new car. And they can realize all the profits, and then all the new cars can go to somebody who's running a fossil. All right. Thank you for finally saying which features are going to which model, so I no longer have to guess which feature I won't receive. I think this guy's on a legacy car like me. Just as needed for Model 3 and Y with Intel. And so I just repeated my my previous post because I have no sympathy. I get it, and I do have empathy, but I have no sympathy because many of us have been there way longer. And me in the middle, literally in the middle. This started with MCU1. I did have an experience with it with MCU1 when I had my Model S, but I was just like, oh, old car syndrome. And then MCU2 came out, and then it's like, But it's even more weird for the people who still have MCU1 for various reasons because they could get MCU2. And a friend of mine who really, really customized his car, he went with MCU2 anyway because it brought his car some new breath of life. And he did have to get his custom speaker tuning redone, but he gets to enjoy his car as if it were, he gets whatever I get on the updates, except for obviously the FSD stuff because his car is an AP1 car. But if he had had a AP2 car, excuse me, he could have done that and then also then upgraded to FSD later. But he's done so many customizations to the car that's not worth going beyond upgrading to MCU2. Whoop whoop, auto ship's coming to 3 and Y2. It doesn't say that, although Elon did say that last year before. Lisa says, real update that's crazy useful. The ability for the hatch to open is what I've been stomping feet for since 2018. Thanks, Tesla. So I've done the kick mod, so I can then just kick my foot underneath the rear bumper area, like on the Fords, and my rear hatch will open. Or I can use the key fob. But the whole point of this is your hands are full, so key fob won't do the trick because your hands are full. So instead of getting FSD to work with MCU1, the team has been refreshing the UI on new cars that already have everything they paid for, while meanwhile, MCU1 customers bought FSD in 2016 and are waiting. I'm so done with Tesla. So it's not entirely true. There are some folks like my sister-in-law who have FSD running on MCU1, and it's a very, very small group because what happened is they then stopped the rollout and they have not got another release since then. Uh, Tesla is they don't seem to have any customer loyalty. It just seems that way. I mean, every now and then they'll do something like that just to show you that they don't really care. And this sort of stratification that you get on software updates, and anytime you ask them for a trade-in quote, they will show you how important you really are to the mission. Other than that, though, you get regular updates and it's fun, but every now and then they're like, "Ha, what have you done for me since yesterday?" The ones I feel worst for are the ones who have legacy cars that they had legacy cars within a month or two of buying them. That had to be a kick in the pants. And then other people like it. And here we go. So back in 2021, I said last year, but I was wrong. 3 years ago, Elon said auto detect direction will come as an optional setting for all cars with FSD. Does this still apply today? And he includes the proof. I hope it does because that was something I was looking forward to. And my car's got FSD. And wouldn't it be nice to not have to get up there and shift the nubbin? Or slide on the screen for you new guys. Well, actually, yes, you already know what it's like on the new car. So never mind for you folks. It's Christmas all year long. Thank you, Tesla. All right, let's go on to something else. Okay, see, why do you always go into the Tesla updates and not always the others? Well, most of you guys drive a Tesla. However, you have seen me go into like Rivian updates and stuff. So it doesn't stop there. If you have a Cybertruck, which already had like all of that stuff, not all of it, but a lot of it, you now will have in your version of this update, you'll add power sharing from vehicle to home. During grid outages, Cybertruck can power your home using Universal Wall Connector and Power Share Gateway. So if you don't have a power wall in the house, you'll need to install the Power Share Gateway, and then this will work for you. If you do have a power wall, this will be ready to go without you installing anything. The colorizer. You can wrap your digital Cybertruck to match your wrap in real life. So everybody else has already had this on their vehicles, where you can pick what the color of the outside is. So I picked metallic on mine because I have not the free black. I have the Obsidian Black Metallic. So I just changed that in the MCU. New horn and lock sounds. Lock and unlock your Cybertruck to try them out. Cabin overheat protection. Yes, the Cybertruck has been missing this, and now it's got it. It helps maintain the temperature for up to 12 hours after you park. And something I was not aware of until recently, the cabin overheat protection has been changed from 104 degrees Fahrenheit to 100 degrees Fahrenheit. So it's not that much of a difference in energy consumption, but it is that much more comfortable. Still not comfortable, but is definitely survivable for somebody who accidentally gets locked in the car. And the only people who should be getting accidentally locked in the car, we're talking toddlers who've been strapped into their car seats, that sort of thing. Toddlers and babies. And pets. Don't do that. But now it is more survivable than it was in the past. It's not comfortable, but it's survivable. All right. Turning circle. The turning circle is now improved by 1.6 feet, making parking and low speed maneuvers even easier. Also, if you are one of 100 Cybertrucks, or up to 100 Cybertrucks, you will need to get new rear links to get the full advantage of this. They will do that on your next service appointment. And then they quoted the post we just read because all of that and then some. Brandon says color razor and turning radius increase. Thank you, Cyber Squad. Because he's got a lime green wrap, apparently. Hello, Moto. Daddy, what? You want to say hi?
Yeah.
You want to say hi? Where what? Wet. The baby's wet. Well, have mommy change you. Where's the baby? You're the baby. We ask her name. She says, baby name. What does daddy call you? Baby name. Okay. Daddy Tesla says autopilot. Yeah, Chris, that would be nice, wouldn't it? Da, 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 da. NHTSA is going to let us have full horns again? Fun horns again? No. No. All right, let's continue on. Oh, questions. Order Cyber Beast within 1 minute of your announcement. Paid large deposit. 2 beasts have shipped to Washington State. One went through a car broker that I know, and they actually offered one to me. Just going to be complaining. Wes on X. So here we have a Tesla employee, one of the engineers, Wes Morel, says if you want a smaller turning circle, improve the mind-blowing experience on Cybertruck OTA. So here's the new turning circle on ice or in snow. Either way. Who needs tank turns, right? And then the sound that I just unmuted is just uh it looks like it sounds. It's very quiet. Right, so Wes says this update that's rolling out to the fleet makes full use of the front and rear steering travel to minimize the turning circle. In this case, a reduction of 1.6 feet just over the air. And this guy's asking Idaho Tetons in the background. Captured this video when I was in Alaska, one of the locations we use for winter testing. Riders hate him. But there's one small trick. Eventually, can we get a mode, turn off traction control and electronic stability control, like track mode for some donut action? Interesting. Tank turn fans rejoice. Yeah, if you were on the Rivian list and were expecting a tank turn and never got it, now you have another chance to try it out. Sort of. With really tight donuts on ice. Differential locking coming soon for the Cyber Beast? Question mark. Not just the Cyber Beast though. Also the dual motor needs it as well. Oh snap! This turning radius is looking to be a lot more than just tighter turns. Almost tank turn like. But don't forget it's on ice. Yeah, that's every car though. What happens is the plastic on the dashboard and other places in the car outgasses, and it just collects all over your windows, but particularly the windshield. Moving on. That one is a double in my notes, so we're not actually moving on. Sorry. Oh, sometimes they're follow-ups, and the follow-ups don't stick together, so I save them, and that's what happened there. Oh, yes. Welcome to Legacy. I didn't realize that one would actually stick, so I did the same thing. I saved it. And moving on. This one was quite a wild ride, and it's got somebody's fingerprints all over, is what I told Future Asa, Brian. Uh, Breaking! Tesla has removed all inventory discounts for all vehicle models in the US except demo cars. This is the first time since 2022 that Tesla has had no inventory discounts in the US for Model 3, Model Y, Model S, and Model X, and some recent discounts have been as big as 10% off. So this is a big strategy change. I don't know if I put it in the notes or not, but now, eventually they all came back. And that certain individual's fingerprints I was talking to Brian about has this habit of just moving faster than the machinery. And so let's just remove the discounts because the I might have that one in there. Stand by. Maybe, but it's not in order. So let's just remove the thing before the new thing is ready. Case in point, we don't need rain sensors on our cars because we've got cameras. And then 5 years later, the cameras are almost as good as a $2 rain sensor or less. Or we don't need phones in the service center. And then eventually there's a decent chat and text opportunity in the app. Eventually. Or I don't need to go on. There's a lot of examples of stuff that's just been ripped before the thing is actually ready. And in this case, the discounts were ripped because the sales program was not set up optimally. And then here we go. Days later, you saw the return of discounts on the Model 3, and then the Model Y, and then the S and the X. S and X are $2,000 off again, and there's more. I don't know if I put a link to it. Let me somebody remind me about referral program if I don't put it in there. All right, Tesla's also removed nearly all job listings in North America, Middle East, and Africa. Appears the job listing count has been reduced by over 80% in Europe and zero openings in Canada. There were collectively thousands of job openings in these three countries before. Typically, whenever they fired 10% of the staff, or they would fire a large amount of executives, or have an executive walk away, they would still leave the job openings up. But this is a change from past behavior. And yet there are tons of listings on X. Tesla removed the listings from their main website and LinkedIn. I suspect they'll remove them from X soon too. Oh yeah, I see what you mean. I thought it was meaning X job listings. So listings on here on Twitter for Tesla jobs. I thought they meant that all of a sudden X was hiring. Wow. Maybe the cost savings is removing the job listings from the outside sites and forcing people to come to X to job hunt. No, that wouldn't only work if they removed them from other places. They removed it from their own website, which should be free. Wow, they're really cutting, but they should improve again in the near future. Yeah, probably. Jack Welch strikes again. For those of you who are have been unfortunate enough to be graced by the former GE execs' terrible management. Stack ranking is garbage. I mean, the first year, okay, 1 year it works, but if you keep doing it, you're just hurting yourself. Oh, I'm sorry, there's somebody in the room, and I haven't let them in. Let's let them in. It is our friend Patrick. Let's show him on stream. Hello, Patrick.
Hello.
How are you
Good
doing
evening,
today?
good afternoon, good morning, whenever you are.
Yes. Temporal and location greeting. So
Accomplished.
I was referring to how a certain individual's fingerprints were all over these latest cuts in job listings and features
Yeah.
and sales prices, and then slowly they get rolled back in way faster than when this certain individual decided that we don't need rain sensors on our car, where it took 5 years to recover from that terrible decision.
Yeah, you want to move fast. Sometimes you have to jump and put the parachute on the way down. It's
You
not
remember
always the
the
best
plane?
method.
Still contend that if they'd left the rain sensor on and just trained the new cameras,
hmm
this would have been done a year and a half, 2 years into it, rather than 5 years into it. My car's about to turn
Well,
6.
yeah, and I think part of the problem is it then fell on the FSD team, which was already busy with other things. So
Yes.
rain was never their priority because they
Yeah,
were
they
getting
were
pushed really
busy. They
hard.
they, they had
hmm
leadership changes repeatedly,
Yeah.
and then they had method changes.
FSD was, make or break for the company. They're putting a big bet on it, and it was not being delivered over and over was making Musk look pretty bad. So
Yeah,
they weren't getting yelled at every week to get rain sensors done.
right.
Finish deep
Exactly.
rain, and no, that's not where the pressure was.
Right, and anybody who had the ability to work on deep rain also had the ability to actually make FSD better, so they were then
Right.
needed elsewhere.
Exactly.
It
Right.
wasn't like the guy who made the fart sounds had anything to do with FSD.
Exactly. Yes.
Yeah, or the guy who made it so the automated seat heat and steering wheel heat, that person might not have had the skill set for FSD, so that's why we got those cool things even before FSD was ready.
Right.
Yeah,
Yep.
so those were fun. I talked about the Cybertruck pedal, which at the time
hmm
was a bulletin when I put it in the notes, and then became a full blown recall, and has
hmm
also then been solved.
Right, and so this is a real recall, unlike everything else has been called a recall.
Yeah,
Uh, So this is what we were talking about. How if you overuse that word, it's not going to be understood as well, I guess. But at
Right.
least one thing about when this stuff happens with Tesla, a lot of press happens, so all the owners should be aware of it, even if they don't, even if they throw the NTSC letter or whichever organization it is into the trash, they'll still hear about it and get it fixed.
Yeah, but this is what I was talking about with the boy who cried recall. Uh,
Yes,
that eventually
exactly.
it would be something serious because right now,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
what it does during the failure is your pedal could be pinned at 100% open. And yes, the brake pedal can override it, but if you're panicked, the
Mm-hmm.
results could be deadly.
Right. Yep. Yep.
Yeah,
Step on the brake hard and shift it into neutral. Figure out the pedal after you've done those things.
right. And then people who say, "Oh well, the neutral's on the screen now," just hold down the brake, and then when the car comes to stop, make sure that you've told it to stop applying power.
Mm-hmm.
The brake
Mm-hmm.
will brake rules all in this car. I've been saying this since 2014. Just hold down the
Right.
brake;
As
it controls
yep,
everything.
as it should be. Yeah.
Yeah. Some manufacturers they cut it a little close, and so you need a little bit of human power to go with just the brake pedal. But that's not this one, thankfully.
What's up? How's it the Fred Flintstone method? How's that work? I don't know. There's no way human power's gonna.
Yes. Oh, this is an article I wrote. I think this is the article. Yeah. No, it's not the article. I did the article last week. So I locked in FSD beta 12.3.4 at literally 5 minutes to midnight last Wednesday. So it was like after we did the Tesla Live show previously, so 2 weeks ago
Hmm.
now. 3.21 gigabytes down, 21.62 gigabytes up. Data for my August 18 Model X P100D. 7.03 gigs down, 7.65 gigs up, totaling 83.6 gigabytes. Today's trip
They
still
were
ahead.
very interested in what you had been seeing.
Yeah, I'm
Hmm.
surprised 'cause these are all short trips. Uh, then this is before we had our executive departures. So I said voice annotations and for disengagements on these legacy vehicles would be invaluable. It's crucial for Tesla to understand why we're taking control, whether it's to avoid a pothole, needing more space for a pedestrian, or that tempting sale at the drive-through. You know, buy one get one free. Hey, I'll get a donut for that. Hang on. Right now it
Right.
seems, yeah. Right now it seems that you get that from new car owners and then get to guess why us older car owners did it. I mean, I guess that is a form of A/B testing, but I think it might be better just to get that data from everybody and then just ignore half of them if you want to
Agree.
guess intent, or
Hmm.
guess it and then ask, and then look at it and say, "Hey, oh, it
Confirm. Yeah.
agrees."
Right.
Yeah.
Yes. That's how you
Uh,
can get a lot of self-training data.
exactly. Lee
Hmm.
says, happy Sunday, Lee." And so then after that, I said, also, could we see a return to the temperature display on the binnacle in FSD mode? It's a small detail that matters, and it was retained on AMD vehicles. Because when I went on that test drive of the Tesla-owned Model X, it still had the temperature. So I thought it was like a decision, like, oh, you don't need to know anything, like if the road was frozen underneath you. And then I saw that they didn't remove it, and so I'm hoping it's an oversight. And so I sent it to this one. I sent to uh, the head of Tesla AI because previously I had sent something similar to Rohan, and he's no longer with the company. No response, but hopefully they saw it at least. Just to be clear, this is all from a place of data fascination, not a complaint. I wrote it that way just because as I realized I was talking about how my car is approaching terabytes of data updates repeatedly, that somebody might think I was complaining. I'm not complaining. I have the data to spare, although maybe they should look and see if you're on a metered connection before.
You don't have to connect it to your Wi-Fi. That's your
That's
choice.
true. Yeah. So I guess that'd be more of a PSA. Hey, if you are on a metered connection and you're in FSD, think twice.
Mhm. Mhm.
They will get it if you park at a supercharger with Starlink, or later on if you put it on a network that isn't metered.
Yeah,
I
just
tag a
park
friend with
really
it.
yeah, go to your local coffee shop and park really close.
There's that, but you got to make sure it doesn't have a captive portal. I tried at a
Oh,
restaurant.
yes, that's true.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, so that was that one. It was pretty straightforward. Patrick gets me,
Mhm.
and so we talked about a Mercedes that can tow more than a Model Y. That was interesting to me because I mentioned that people in the States probably would never tow with their Mercedes sedan.
Right.
And they made a really big deal that the standing star is back instead of the flat tri-point. And I
Hmm.
just didn't get it. I get, like, if you have some nostalgia or something, but like once you retire a trend, why bring it back like that? Now collect bugs and interfere with your drag coefficient
Yeah.
ever so slightly. The
Wow.
Lotus Elector, its pricing starts at $107,000. It opens now. The U.S. delivery is expected in Q4 of 2024. Uh, let's open this a little bit so we see what we're getting into. You get full-time all-wheel drive, regardless. 450 kilowatts for the base model and 675 kilowatts for the R model. Ooh, that's approaching the plaid models and the Lucid. You got 905 horsepower, and those have
Nice.
1024 and what 1050 respectively, or
Does
1020.
it have NACS? That's my first question.
I think so, because they're not part of Stellantis or oh no, Stellantis is Nax now too. They're not part of VinFast or a heavy truck maker that doesn't use MCS.
Okay. Yeah. So
Oh,
this looks
will it have
really interesting.
supercharging? Is the next question though.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah.
I hope so. And the max torque is incredible. Look at that, 524 and 727. The top speed is extra legal already. That's probably
Mm-hmm.
limited by tires anyway.
Mm-hmm.
Look at that incredible difference in acceleration. Do you think they pulled a Tesla and the race model is with a foot of rollout and the base model is normal 0 to 60, like literally zero?
Oh, that would be lame.
Well, I
They,
mean,
they should be measured the same way.
they should,
And
but
yeah.
Tesla doesn't, and
Uh,
you get these larger numbers this way. Because I'm wondering,
ah,
like non-P models, they would be closer together if they did the same method.
mhm.
You get the
Still,
same
those are
batteries.
impressive.
Yeah, that's not a bad
Mhm.
battery. 111.
Yeah.
So it's not excessive, but it's not small by any means. And it's a
Mhm.
WLTP range, so you're not going to see 300
Which
miles out of this thing.
yeah, exactly, which is, not very realistic at all.
Yeah. Although if you drive it
Maybe
really carefully, you might see 300 on that base model. Maybe.
right, yeah, you could go for a few kilometers at the 30 miles an hour or whatever it takes to get that result, but,
Yeah.
it's so not real world.
I like this charge speed. It's 350 kilowatts DC. Not bad. 10 to 80% in just 20 minutes. And that's where we recommend you keep it anyway. So you get your full usable range in 20 minutes. That's incredible.
Yep. Yeah,
If you can find a charger.
there's no reason to go above 80% on a DC fast charge. It starts
Exactly.
slowing down there anyway. Just move on and get to where you need to go for your next charge.
Exactly. You spend more time trying to get above 80 than you do driving to the next stop and doing it again. It's not a
Yeah,
bad looking
there's
car either.
there's rare occasions where you'll need the full range and it's
Yeah.
worth it, but those are few and
Like you're
far between.
crossing a gap in the network or you're towing. Those are about the only reasons.
Yeah, exactly.
It's got those little like horn looking things like the BZ siblings. It's definitely got Max in the US. In that's a terrible place to put the port, but look how small
Where
it is.
is
It
the
looks like
port by the front
the fender.
driver side?
Yeah. Uh,
Okay.
CCS1 would not fit in there, but CCS2 and Max both fit in there. CCS2 is only slightly bigger than Max.
Isn't that the same spot Ford has it?
Yep.
Hmm.
Our jaw just hit the
So this
floor.
just seems kind of dumb on their part. So if you know that the Tesla network is the most prominent network out there and they have it all set up for cars to have it on the rear driver side, even if you don't think that's the best location, that's what the network is set up for already. So don't fight the tide, man.
Right. At least RJ had a good excuse. He's like, oh, well, I think the street parking is going to be more prominent, and they'll either have V4s everywhere or they'll sell you an extension cable if you want to use their network instead of ours. I mean, he backed it up with something. I
Hmm.
don't think street parking will be that big a deal. I've done it once in each of my plugins, I tried to do it
Right.
twice in one of the vaults, but the station was closed on one, and another it was just removed. So
Mm-hmm.
there was a parade coming the first time, and the second time it was gone. So
Yeah, I've done some street parking when I had the Leaf, and that was
yeah,
right in front, and
yeah,
no one else is using that spot, but I still think
not
it
even
was.
them.
Yeah, I still think it was a pretty good spot just because
I
you
think
could
it's a good
reach from
spot.
either side, and
Yeah. My complaint to RJ is I'm not working for the phone company or the cable company. I don't have the cones in the front of the car where I need to get out and then go all the way around and put my cone down to prove that I've checked to make sure there's no kids or toys or pets under my car. So now you're making me take a field trip around my car every time I get home.
right.
Just saying, and
Yeah.
then like the whole argument is, oh, well, you put your charging equipment in a different place, but you still have to go around the car every time
Mhm.
you park.
Mhm.
Except that now, as you've moved your equipment, it's still now just a reach rather than reach and drag a cord with you, but you still have to get from the driver's corner to the passenger rear corner.
Yep. Maybe one day we'll finally get wireless charging and this will all be a non-problem.
I'll do it, and then you just park over the pad,
Mhm.
get out and do your thing.
Mhm.
They'll have to have really good pet protection or
Yeah.
detection, not protection. Uh, oh, this one's fun. Our friend Kyle Connor has done a, a test float
Float, not a
cruising.
test
Yeah,
drive.
cruising the French coastline in a boat made by Frauscher Motorboats, or sorry, Frauscher Boats, and is powered by a Macan EV powertrain. There he is. Action shot. He could just be like parked and the wind is blowing through his hair, but that looks like he's moving. CCS 2. Yeah. Hopefully it has NAX when it gets to the States because we saw that GM owned
Mhm.
version switch to the NAX with the boat. Like they were like what, number 5 to announce? Like our boats are going to use NAX. Like, oh, all right, let's do it. And they point out
What
they're
a
using
rough
Macon.
job. Has to go around cruising the French coastline in an
Yeah,
electric boat. Jeez. Tough, tough times for Kyle.
yeah.
Good job, buddy.
I like this. I like this display here. Maybe could be a little bit bigger, but other than that, it looks nice. That's not a bad looking boat. There we go. Oh, after the show, I want to tell you something I've been working on.
All
Uh,
right, cool. I get to know the secret. You guys don't. Not yet,
that's
anyway.
right. Rivian Tracker tells him he's living his best life. Yeah. Uh, so we got that one down. Where's my blinkety blinkety? Where you at, cursor? There it is. It moved it.
Mm.
All right. So this one is GM has released updated specs for its Sierra EV Denali Edition 1, which starts deliveries in a couple months. Range 440 miles, price 99 grand, and so which means you don't get your tax credit because they came up 19 grand too high. 350 kilowatt charging, 100 miles of range in 10 minutes, 0 to 60 in under 4.5, four-wheel steering with grab walk, and 10,000 pounds of towing with a 19.2 kilowatt onboard charger. So, as somebody with an 18 kilowatt onboard charger, you don't know what you're missing. Uh, it's nice. So we've seen previews of this vehicle in Chevrolet trim, and the range is real, and it tows great. Like towing what 9,000, 8,000 pounds with TFL EV, it managed to beat the range of every other EV pickup driving itself naked. That was impressive. But as I think you pointed out, it has the double sized battery of the Hummer, so you're dragging a Honda Civic around everywhere you go, whether you need the
Mhm.
range or not that day.
Mhm.
But
Yeah, when
hopefully
you
you
need
tow
it, it's nice to have it, but,
right,
the rest of the time, it's
eating up your tires
Yep.
and burning up your electricity bill. Uh,
Mhm.
James asks, "Is this the Nikola Badger?" I do see that influence on it, and didn't GM get themselves a sweet deal with if this didn't work out?
Hmm. I don't know
There's
because
also
weren't all the rights to the Badger just sold off to one of the
oh,
Diesel
Whistling Diesel.
Bros?
You're right.
So I don't think,
It's not bad.
GM even if they, like some of the styling and were influenced by it. It's certainly not the Badger rebranded. There's no way they would want to associate themselves with that.
Right, especially after Mr. Man went to jail.
Yeah, exactly.
They probably try to distance themselves from that partnership as much as possible.
So this is the Sierra EV, and they also have
Mhm.
the Silverado EV that's already
Correct.
out, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so cool. More options, and like we were kind of bashing on the battery size, but there are, and I don't want to take it that way. I love big batteries,
Me too.
and uh, so there are use cases where that's what you need. If this is what you need to get your job done, and it's going to be a work truck, and you have to tow things or run equipment off of it, and then that this is all good. And
Yep.
yeah, it's not going to be perfect in every situation, but no vehicle is. You don't want a nice fast sports car to do furniture moving, and you don't want a
Right.
truck at the drag strip. And there's lots of, if you get the right vehicle for the right fit, then it's all good. So yeah, I'm glad there are more options out there.
Definitely. Another use case that people will overlook is if you are in multifamily housing, say you
Mm,
own a condo or you rent an apartment for choices, like say you're on a temporary work assignment or the housing market is just blown up with the interest rates right now, but you are in need of a new vehicle. This one would see you at public charging way less often than something with a normal size battery.
right. Yeah. If you can charge once a week instead of, if you can't park in a garage overnight and charge, which is the most super convenient way to do it. But if you're in a multifamily dwelling, then that's not always an option. So charging every week is a lot better than going to a remote spot and spending a half an hour or more every day.
Definitely. So then we've got this one from Inside EVs. I'm not really going to go into the article too much, but Patrick and I would love to point out that for consumer vehicles, hydrogen
Oh,
doesn't make any sense. And it looks like
none
the
at
market
all.
is realizing this as well because sales have plummeted 70% in quarter one of 2024. In fact, I am going to get into it because the numbers 70% sounds like a lot. We're still talking about and also ran. It's the
Hmm.
worst years. It was the worst start of the year for hydrogen since sales began in 2016. What number are we talking about here? So they sold 223, down 70%. 172 of them were Mirai, and 51 of them were Hyundai Nexo, which was down 22%.
Yeah, I was on a Mirai forum, and Shell just closed a bunch of their hydrogen filling stations. And there
All
was
of them.
somebody that had a Mirai, and they lived near one of those filling stations, which is the one that they used because there aren't that many of them. And that one got closed down, and they're like, "What do I do now? There's not another one within 100 miles."
Whoa. And things
It's
only
kind of
got a, what,
hosed.
200-mile range, right?
Right. Yeah. So you could drive to the filling station and back, and then you could do that again. That's about it. So if the places you need to stop are along that one route, you're okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's
Ouch.
not like an EV where you can just, any outlet will get you some juice.
Yeah. And so California had 55 stations, and same as in January, except that now six of them are showing unavailable, two are in construction, 18 are in permitting, four are proposed, five are on hold, and then anything that had the Shell brand on it is now no longer operated by Shell. So if somebody buys it and revives it, okay, but if nobody wants that mess, just like this Mirai owner, you now have to make decisions.
Hmm.
It's not like electricity where you can make it at home at pressures high enough to actually make the car useful, and it's not like gasoline where you can put it in the container and bring it with you.
Right. Yeah. There are in the US over 100,000 gas stations today. And I think you would need, I mean, that's so the market has determined for convenience, that's what you need for a car like a fuel cell vehicle. You would need to have that same level of convenience. You would need that many stations, but they're just so cost prohibitive. It does not make sense for passenger vehicles. If you're running a bus fleet or a ferry or something that's on a controlled route where you can put in a station that you manage so it doesn't go away when you
Yeah,
need it, then fine. That's a good use case for it. But yeah, passenger vehicles are just, it's just the wrong place to
yeah,
I don't know if it's would ever be the right place, but it's certainly the wrong place to start without a question.
right.
And yeah,
It might be okay on an aircraft as well because you're weight sensitive there.
yeah, there's
Yeah,
And again, with an aircraft, if you fly from A to B and you have hydrogen stations at A and B, great. And if that's your route and you can have them where you need them, sure. It's a controlled route. It's not like a car that just randomly. Oh, here I feel like going to Vegas this weekend. Let's go to see what's happening in Miami. Yeah, passenger cars need to be able to drive to random locations.
Yeah,
It just
I
doesn't
think
make
what
sense.
they're just hoping for here is that is with the hydrogen passenger car, you don't change the paradigm at all. You still have to go someplace else to refill your range, and so they maintain. They're just swapping which connection you're going to use when you get there, but none of that is actually played out, including
Hmm.
the actual cost of the stuff. We're talking $36 a kilogram, which is like paying
Hmm.
$36 a gallon for gas equivalent, and
Right.
and
Crazy.
then you've got what we say 55 stations.
Yeah, if hydrogen is so great, why don't we have cell phones that are hydrogen? Why don't we have drones that are hydrogen?
Because we
It
got a
just doesn't make
spacecraft,
sense.
and that's just because you get free water once it's done making the electricity.
Right. Yeah. If you have a government budget, sure, do whatever
Yeah,
you want.
exactly. They're a little price sensitive.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
So let's talk about something that's going to work better. We're going to talk about Rivian. They have installed over 17,000 chargers at Amazon for the Rivian van fleet. Congrats to Amazon.
Hmm. Yeah, I'm seeing a lot of the Rivian Amazon delivery vans running around now. It's nice to see all those gas vehicles off the roads.
I think they might be getting ready because around here, the Amazon branded Sprinters and Dodges, or Rams rather, are they're about 25% of what they used to be seen, and then the rest are Penske's. So maybe they're getting ready to roll out the Rivians here, hopefully.
Yeah.
Because it can't be good to have to rent your entire fleet.
Right.
Not unless you get a really good deal. Cars with level 3 driving assist are banned in British Columbia. What? We were just talking about how you get level 3 on that Mercedes.
Hmm.
If you're in a traffic jam on specific roads in perfect conditions, you can kick back and read a newspaper until the car says, hey, the traffic's clearing up, it's your turn. Apparently, BC disagrees.
Yeah, level 3 is an interesting one. I'm autonomous sometimes. The handoff has to be well coordinated.
What the hell? I thought this was more reasonable when I put it in the list. Uh, even if you don't use the automated driving features, you're looking at a fine of up to $1,500 and 6 months in prison.
What? Even if you don't use them? That makes
Right. I
no
thought it was like
sense.
if you use them, okay, go to jail. Okay, no big deal.
Yeah. So just
Wow.
driving that car on the roads?
So
That's
don't be towing something with your Mercedes EQS with the feature in BC.
huh.
That's messed up because like it only works on specific roads. So if they don't authorize the roads, the Mercedes won't turn it on. But yet you can still go to
Oh,
prison.
yeah. That's wrong. This is hmm. I wonder how that's going to play out.
I mean,
If
we
they
were looking at
actually
it from a
try
U.S.
to
lens, but I do believe that Mark would agree with us.
yeah, if they tried to arrest somebody in a Mercedes Benz just because it's a Mercedes Benz, that would be such a PR nightmare.
Yes, and whew, you know that person's probably going to have access to a lawyer. Not only mention
Yeah.
that Mercedes will
Yeah.
probably back him up just to make a point.
Yes.
Wow. Also have to
Especially
have
like you
a
said, if Mercedes has to enable it for specific areas, or it's not even possible, not even capable of level 3, and they
right.
know it's illegal here, they're not
Yeah,
going to add any of, oh, they shouldn't add any of those roads to their network of level 3 capable. So your defense would be it's not level 3 capable here, so
yeah, it's a level
so I
2 car.
didn't violate. Yeah, it's a level 2 car when I'm on this anywhere in British Columbia.
Yeah, that's what I'd get my lawyer to argue.
Yeah.
Wow. The Motor Vehicle Act, which makes it offense to drive. You want up? You want to say hi, Patrick?
Hmm.
Baby
There's
what?
Moto.
Hello, Moto. Is your birthday tomorrow?
Hey.
Yeah, that's my neighbor
Another
there.
trip around the sun.
Another trip around the sun. Oh, that's
Cool.
mine for baby juice. That's daddy juice. She made me put this red stuff in my water. Tastes all right, but it didn't mix very well. Yep. I think what I'll do next time I decide that I want to use the red stuff is put it in and then put the water in, or stir it. Wow. So $368 Canadian to $2,000 Canadian and a maximum of 6 months in prison. I would hope the judge would throw this crap out.
Yeah, well, my guess is if you had somebody like the backseat cruiser who was abusing it, they would throw the book at them. And so
Yeah.
they want to have these heavier fines and penalties available to the judge,
Yeah.
but they probably would not use them unless you taunted them,
But it seems that the law was
flaunted the
malformed.
law.
Like I get it if they're using it, but just possessing it is not a gun.
Yeah.
I
I
mean, it's
wonder
deadly as a gun,
that
but it's not it's not a gun.
yeah. So this might be one of those things where, okay, how do we prove that they were using it? Just because we saw you in the backseat, you can claim, no, I wasn't. And now you don't have to prove it. So it's more about removing that burden of proof than it
That's
is
lazy too, because
actually.
Mercedes was approved in Nevada and Arizona to use purple lights when you're using autonomous features.
Hmm.
So they should just approve the purple lights, and then if they catch you at purple lights, throw your butt in jail.
Right. So now they're going to have to know how it's indicated on every vehicle.
Well, it's purple
As we
lights
can.
is the only way to indicate it if you indicate it at all.
Oh, okay. So that's some kind of standard that was
It will
set
be a
by.
standard if it succeeds. Yeah. Right now it's a
Okay.
trial. That's why it's Arizona and Nevada.
And then it would have to be an international standard. So it's the same in US and Canada.
Oh, yeah, that international, yes, yes, but not like European. Yeah, that would be. I
Hmm.
mean, I think that would be the easiest way for them to do it. Like, go ahead and authorize that, and then don't authorize the. But that's even worse than what you get in Europe. At least Europe's like, oh, you just have to confirm everything before the car does it.
Hmm.
Thank you, baby. Which does kind of defeat the point of autonomy, but
Hmm.
at least they didn't say you can't use it at all. We're going to jail, son.
Yeah, I've been doing some more driving with FSD, and
Yeah,
it. So in the past, it's when I turn on FSD, it's increased my engagement because I'm really worried about the car doing something wrong, so I'm hyper
yeah,
paying attention. But
yeah.
version 12 is getting so good that I'm starting to like let my mind wander, and I'm like, oh no, no, I can't do that. So
Right.
it's finally getting good enough that I'm starting to trust it, and that's not good,
Right.
not yet.
I
It's
think I almost had my first, curb experience, but I saw that the
okay.
car was not at a geometry where it would have made the turn successfully, so I steered.
Good. Yes,
Yeah,
that's what you need to do. Because yeah, all the people saying, "Oh, my car hit a curb." Well, no, you let your car hit a curb. That's not what
right.
happened.
Yeah, my tires are expensive, and they don't make my rims anymore, so it would be
Oh
my
yeah.
luck that it would be destroyed, and not just something
Mhm.
you can repair,
Mm.
like, gone, and then I'd have, like, one wheel that doesn't match, or I'd have to get all new wheels, which is expensive. More
Yes.
expensive than the one wheel and all that.
Mhm.
I was listening to the guy over at Aging Wheels, Mr. Dunn. He he hit a curb on his own on his Polestar, and it didn't just bend the wheel and blow out the tire. It also messed up the bearing hub, the brake rotor, and something else with the axle. So I'm like, it could be so much worse than just your scuffed up wheel. So be
Yeah.
vigilant.
That
What we're
sounds like
seeing
he smacked that hard, not just a little scrape.
Right, or just the right angle. So what we're
Mhm.
seeing here was a picture of the service bulletin that is now a recall on the Cybertruck. So the original poster deleted it, unfortunately.
Aw.
Just leave it up and put a note underneath it. Hey, update.
Yeah.
I want to be clear. This is a service update for 100 truck. Okay, this one is also deleted, but this one is referring to um, this one is referring to the what I said. You got less than 100 trucks that to get the full turning experience at the rear, they'll need a new part, and that's what he's explaining right here. But everybody else got it with software. And since we've been talking about recalls all day, I usually put them into a segment, but when that one bulletin changed, it changed the whole flow. NHTSA launched this investigation into Cadillac Lyric electronic brake failures. So if you have a Lyric, be mindful of that. What's that, baby? This is for helping you sleep. Do you have a sick stomach? The bottle it's not open. You want
Mm.
gripe water, huh? Ask mommy to help you. I guess she got a little upset stomach or something. She brought the baby gripe water. Oh yeah, so launched an investigation into Cadillac Lyric. We were talking about the Office of Defects Investigation received multiple early warning reporting field reports alleging a loss of brake boost assist in 2023 Cadillac Lyric, and the reports alleged that hard brake pedal followed by a brake system failure message at startup or while driving. That's not good.
Hmm.
If you are on the more less strong side of things, it will mean that you have to really, really lay into the brakes to get them to do their thing. And this is going to be a bring it in recall. It won't be a software update most likely, unless it's a matter of the brake booster just goes to sleep on accident. All right, so continuing on our recalls and campaigns and bulletins, we're going to look at Ford now. So earlier we talked about how Ford got new headlights for 2024, and Lightning pickup trucks had a halt in shipments for more than 9 weeks. They are back. So this is a good news recall bulletin situation rather than just
Yeah.
the right thing. Good for them. Also, certain Ford Lightning trims have a significant price drop. So if you were in the market for a pickup truck and you don't want a Foundation Series Cybertruck, and the giant battery is too much for your needs on the Chevrolet and GMC, this is an option.
Hmm.
Also, it'll be cheaper than the Rivian. Nothing against the Rivian, but like this is awesome. Like right now, there's like uh, just a couple years ago we had like 3 options to pick from, and now they're talking about there are going to be 77 models to pick from, like distinct models, not just a different badge to choose from by the end of the year.
Oh
So
wow.
all the people saying EVs don't work for me, well, now you've got 1 in 77 chances it might work for you. Probably more than that if you count all the little badge cousins.
Yeah, I wonder. There's been so many delays on EVs announced that some of
Yeah.
those might push into next year, but
Oh,
still,
for sure.
it's going the right way. There's more options, brings in more people. That's awesome.
Yeah. We're going to stick with Ford. This one, Ford recalls 450,000 vehicles due to loss of drive power. This one is a battery issue, yes, but not a high voltage traction battery. This is your 12-volt battery on your gas and hybrid vehicles. So we're looking at the Bronco Sport, Maverick, and looks like that's it. Your vehicle may just lose power. This is due to a poor calibration of the body control and powertrain control modules. They'll recalibrate it for you for free and put you back on the road. But this is a bring it in recall because there are very few fossils that have wireless over the air update. Excuse me,
Hmm.
capabilities. Although arguably they should also have wireless over the air updates by now anyway.
Yeah.
Unless you're looking at like something that was designed before that. So this one says news: Tesla has partnered with Best Buy to sell the Powerwall 3. Sort of. Tesla and Best Buy are partnering to provide broader access to power outage protection with Powerwall. I saw this, went to Best Buy, said, maybe I'll pick up a Powerwall. No. You click on any of the buttons, it takes you to tesla.com/energy or tesla.com/powerwall, and then you get to set an appointment for one of their authorized installers. I was like, oh yeah, just rent a forklift, and here we go. We got this. No. They
So
also have
does this
another.
mean that Geek
Huh?
Squad from Best Buy can install it now?
No, no, they're not. That would have been a better experience at least. But no, it's just the same old. We'll get you together with your solar installer and get the permits and stuff. Um,
Oh, I don't even see what value add Best Buy has here. I don't.
I
Maybe
don't.
this is just.
Well, they did
Maybe
say
they
refer.
do have more plans. They just haven't rolled them out yet.
It could be that, but it was a referral link when I clicked through it. And then if you are on the other tab just for charging, then they will sell you a universal wall connector or a NAX connector out of inventory from Best Buy. So
It's
that
just a
part.
referral link? That seems ridiculous. That
I was offended. So
Yeah, and, like,
what I wrote in
anybody
under the note was, I got excited, but it just dumps you on the Tesla page with a referral. Use mine instead, please.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. That's just lame.
Yeah.
Best Buy can do
Uh,
better than this.
People still shop at Best Buy. Speaking of referrals, I still don't know if I put it in there or not, but the referral program is gone again. At the end of the month, there will be no more referrals for a time. Uh, I must have put it in there because Elon later on said that it will be coming back eventually. Um, Again, just ending stuff before you got the new stuff ready.
Yep.
I'm sure it didn't bring them zero new customers. It might not
Yeah,
have been
especially
exactly
right
the same.
now when
Yeah,
they're lowering prices to try to entice more people. Why wouldn't you go the other way and make the referral program better
better.
instead of
Yeah. It's
ending
definitely
it?
cheaper to have a referral than it is to lower the price or advertise.
Mhm, mhm.
All right, so Samsung has received $6.4 billion under the CHIPS Act to build $40 billion fab in Texas. So that's always nice. We're going to see a lot of the Tesla chips being built by this, but not just Tesla. We're going to see other folks as well receive their chips from here. And so now your chips aren't just coming from Taiwan or elsewhere. Unfortunately, for the TSMC version of these plants, they're going to charge more for American made chips than Taiwanese made chips, which
Hmm.
is disappointing. I found that out this morning on a LTT news session. Right. Martin Bauer partnered with Tesla to pilot the use of all electric semis in their Stockton, California distribution center. The pilot ran earlier this year and included two all electric semis running routes to restaurants serviced by their Stockton DC. Um, Patrick, do you mind doing an overview on that since you covered that on this week's The Tesla Live Show? So go back to Wednesday and you'll have the details there. But
Yeah,
here's
so which one is this?
the two semi trucks by the guys who do McDonald's deliveries, among
Oh,
others.
yes, that's right. Yeah, so I had never heard of this company, Martin Bauer, and so, just doing a quick Google search, and they have locations all around North America, and some of them look like they were associated with McDonald's.
Yeah.
So I don't know if they do delivery of McDonald's materials to their locations. So this is just a test in Stockton, California, with a couple vehicles, and I think it's smart for Tesla to branch out because Pepsi has certain use cases that they're going to get data from, but they've been doing that for a while now. So now if you take on another partner, um, Casey and I, we were trying to figure out where they're going to charge them,
Yes.
and it's not clear how or where they're going to be charged. The assumption is that they would install a mega charger at their depot where where these two in the test pilot are. But that's a big expense if it's just a test pilot program,
Right.
and they decide not to continue with it, or
And they said
maybe
something to the effect of, we'll
yeah.
consider it.
So right, yeah. So we're not sure how that's going to work. Um, but yeah, if this works out well and we start seeing Tesla semis roll out in more of their locations around the continent, that's great.
Definitely. And so here we can see some of their other projects that they are listing on their website. They've got apparently a solar farm going and somebody else's autonomous truck. You can combine the two. You get your solar farm using your solar power in your electric semi that already has 12 cameras all over it for autonomy. See, I'm all about synergy, even executive pay.
I'm worried about semi trucks being autonomous. It's
Yes.
this um you know the first time you dive in a pool, you don't start at the high tower. You start out low. So the smaller, lighter vehicles. You could argue that these are fleets and that they're more managed, and it's not just
Yeah.
randos getting it. So maybe that's better. But then I'm thinking the weight and the size. Maybe that's not the right place to start.
I think something like autopilot or nav on autopilot would be a good use because then if somebody's not at 100%, at least the truck will keep going straight. straight as far as the lane is concerned, and it
Mhm.
won't change lanes over people, and it won't tailgate,
Mhm.
and it will slow down if it rains.
Yeah. Yeah. There's it's doable. It's just
Yeah, but just that one because we've been proving that one for what since 2014.
mhm. And I don't know anything about Kodiak or whatever that company was. I mean, they might have um a system where humans can remotely pilot it if needed, or I don't know what they have in place. So I'm not blaming them. I'm just worried.
Right, and then this is something that I would like to see autonomy reduce. A school bus hits DMV building, injures two students. Officials say that was just that was the extent of why I had that in there. Hope everyone's all right. Other than obviously the
Hmm.
two children will need medical attention. So this is a reply. News: Tesla will be ending its referral program on April 30th, and I've said this reminds me of a video I made in January 17th of 19. Tesla referral program breaking news. It's over.
It is ironic that that bus hit a DMV office, which is where you get your driver's license.
Yes.
So, so the driver, you could just the DMV could just walk out and say, "No, no, give it here. You're done."
Okay, let me see your license, sir. They cut it up right there with the scissors.
Yeah. Um,
But I don't need a trial. No, we're the DMV. Yep, we cut it up. We've revoked your license.
yeah, exactly. Yeah. What about due process? Yep, I'm processing it duly.
Exactly. This one was nice for something that we're all into. New multi-state laws limit the power of newsletter requests. Limit the power of homeowners associations to dictate residents' vehicles, and here's why that's important. So it's going to
Hmm.
halt some of these things that we saw, like with the Rivian owner who got in trouble for parking his truck out front because they deemed his personal SUV with a truck bed to be a commercial truck with like the construction company logo on the side. It wasn't any of that, but they treated it as if that was what he was doing. And then they also took offense at him charging by running the cable under the garage door because the garages in this community are too short for a Rivian. Kind of like the garage on this place is too short for anything longer than a Chevrolet Volt. Or if
And
you
it's
leave
not
it
like a
excavated,
Rivian is a giant truck. I
it's
mean,
tiny. Yeah,
yeah. So
yeah,
it's yeah. HOAs have way too much power, and if you have some entitled idiot in charge of your HOA and a board that is either apathetic or supporting them, then they can just mess up your life. I don't know if you ever watched what's John Oliver's show
yes,
last week tonight. He
yeah.
he
I
did a
like that show.
great segment on HOAs and how they can just become fascist little. They can enforce things with fees and fines that no actual government would be able to get away with.
Right.
So they can actually, yeah, because they're not covered under the Bill of Rights, they can extort you in ways that other uh, places can't. So,
Sell your home to
um,
their friend for $1 and keep the profits. The keeping the profits they're not supposed to do, but there's nobody to stop them.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, they definitely exploit things horribly. There was so only in cases like this where they've abused people to the point that the state will pass a law to say no, you can't be that horribly egregious. Here in Oregon, there had to be a law passed that they could not stop you from installing solar because so many HOAs were like, well, no, you can only do it if you put it on the non-street side, and if you happen to have a house where that was like the north side, then that's not going to work. That's very suboptimal for solar.
Right.
And so, yeah, luckily the state stepped in and said HOAs cannot restrict that. And here we have it again. I don't know what states are on this list, but I hope ours are.
And then on that same vein, as you were talking about contractors and or not contractors, HOAs and solar,
Hmm.
this contractor is now facing off with a HOA who has sued the contractor for not getting a ARB proposal and approval before installing solar on this man's house.
Interesting. They didn't
Not a
go
member
after
of
the
their HOA.
homeowner, they went after the contractor.
Right,
That's
right. They should have
interesting.
gone after their
Yeah.
homeowner. This is why Virginia, Maryland, and quite a few other states have made it illegal for HOAs to stop you from installing solar.
Mhm.
Depending on your state, you may still have to put the application in, but if they deny it, you just do it anyway. Uh, make sure you know the laws in your state before you do that, though, because
Uh,
again, you don't want your house sold to one of their best friends for $1 and then keeping the profits.
mhm.
Yeah, if that's even legal where you are. But again, these HOAs are is something else. And
Yeah.
if you're a contractor, I guess it wouldn't hurt for you to make sure that that your homeowner that's covered by one of these things has done their due diligence, because apparently
Yeah.
they have reached a new level of run amok.
Mhm. Good PSA for, any solar installers. It's not just county permits and city permits, now you also have to do HOA paperwork.
Yeah, my installer did all the HOA paperwork for me. I appreciated that because I was a new homeowner. I didn't know what to do with those people, and they also knew how to word it so it would go through without any pushback. So I let their experience roll through. So I guess this is another business opportunity for you. If you are
Mm,
have somebody on staff who's skilled with paperwork like this, add another couple $100 to your fee and make it easier on the homeowner to not have to fight this process. And then everybody
right,
pays.
because yeah, once you've gone through it a couple times, you'll know how to do it quickly compared to the homeowner who would have to struggle. So some people would be willing to pay for that expertise.
Yeah, my guys got it done in 3 days. It would have taken me a week if I did everything perfectly.
Yeah, it's sad
And
that
I
it would
wouldn't have.
even take 3 days. That's just a waste of I don't know, it just seems like bureaucratic hurdles for no benefit.
Yeah, I guess it had to be received. Then they had to think about it. Then they had to approve it. Which still could be done in one go, but whatever.
Mhm. Oh, you're lucky then that it was only 3 days because if they have to think about it, they might say, "Oh, we meet monthly with the board, and you have to wait for the next meeting, and then you'll be on
Right.
the agenda. We may or may not get to, depending on how much old business we have, blah, blah, blah."
And that
They
happened
could
to
have
one of the
dragged it.
neighbors. They got one of the take it off notices, um, because not only did they not do the paperwork the right way, they also had the conduit exposed on the outside, and it wasn't painted to match the vinyl siding. So this is something you can
Wow.
sell as a service, my installer friends.
Mhm.
Nobody wants to deal with it, but at least get paid to do it. Oh
Yes.
man, wow, that's messed up.
Mhm.
All
A
right,
friend
thanks
of
for that.
mine, was so tired of his HOA that he got a bunch of other of his neighbors who were also upset with the HOA, uh, to at the next election to vote for him, and as his first act as the president of the HOA, he abolished it.
Yes, I'd love to do something like that, especially now
Uh,
that mine has become reviled within the members. Um, yeah, I mean the concept of why they say they exist is wonderful, but as Patrick
mhm.
said, usually end up devolving. And then also, if you look at the actual reason they exist, is also just despicable. But that is not a subject for this show. But
Right.
if you do look into it, just prepare to be disgusted. Like the real reason, not the oh, it keeps the neighborhood all the same, blah blah blah. Why did they want the neighborhood the same? What were they trying to keep out? And it wasn't people having chickens in their front yard.
Right.
That's enough of a hint to tell you where to search. Uh, then I didn't have an article for this. I just saw it tweeted and it was enough. FSD is now an $8,000 option on the Tesla site. I guess I could go to Tesla instead of being on this.
Yeah, we were just talking about this on the show when they on the Tesla Life when they lowered the price of the monthly lease that they hadn't lowered the price of the purchase price.
Yeah,
So and then we started talking about how low would it have to go before you'd buy it. Well, Casey, now we've already bought it, but would I buy it for my other vehicle, my other Tesla? Maybe. And this is getting close. It's
yeah,
tempting.
it is. All right, so they're back to the probable savings garbage. You're not saving for my Model X, so here's the real price. Actually, that's
Yeah.
not entirely true. There are savings from my Model X, but that's not what they're using for the basis of their deal. And in fact, even if I'm not logged in, they still know it's me. The IP doesn't change. The cookies are still there. They could say, "Hey, you'll save $5 extra over your legacy Model X because we have heat pumps and stuff now, or whatever the number."
Mm-hmm.
but ignoring that poor choice that they have, the reason I say it's a poor choice is for a while they fixed it. They would just show you the real price, and you could
Yes, they
pick
were.
savings yourself. So they've gone backwards there. Look at this. The long range is almost as fast as my P100D now. I'm 2.8 0 to 60 with a
Oh
foot of
wow.
rollout, and they're at
Hmm.
3.8 true 0 to 60. And a plaid is 2.5 with a foot of rollout. So I'm somewhere in the middle of those two at probably double the price. Not actually double. Yeah. 77,990. So they recently had a $2,000 discount on practically everything. The discounts have varied, and they're just in there now. I kind of see where they're going, but oh, okay.
Yeah, that's one of the things that they're doing incremental improvements,
Yes.
and that's one of the things that annoys me is occasionally some of the Tesla fudsters will say things like, "Oh, they haven't had a new vehicle other than the Cybertruck in a long time.
Yeah.
Their fleet is getting stale. Their offerings are the same old, same old." No,
Yeah.
they're not. They're
Especially the Model
they
3.
exactly, yeah. They kind of ignore Highland, um, and there's been so many changes to the S and X. I don't remember what the latest S change was at Raven or whatever it was, but
The
yeah, there's
Palladium, yeah.
yeah, Palladium. Yeah. So, and even, so you mentioned Teslafy to me. And so I've been happily using that for, I don't know, 4 or 5 months now. And uh, they have a battery degradation report. And so I can compare my vehicle to other similar Model Ys. And the cool thing in there is you can go to different years and compare it to 2020, 2021, 2022, and mine's a 2023. You can see that my battery is degrading slower than older models. So there have been minor chemistry improvements that none of them that make headlines, but so at the age my vehicle is degraded less than a vehicle from 2 or 3 years ago, and that's just awesome because battery degradation, it's real, it's minor, but it's the fact that it's still getting better. That's awesome.
Exactly. So I was clicking on the buttons, and at this current price, you can actually get an option without pushing yourself out of the tax credit. That option can't be
No.
seating, unfortunately. You can pick a color of the interior, or you can get the yoke. But if you get 6 or 7 seats, or more than one option, you lose your tax credit. Also, if you get the plaid, but then you get the plaid and then just get what you wanted anyway, because you never stood a chance at getting the.
Right. Yeah.
But
You're
the
gonna go
reason we
one
were
step over the line, go all
starting
the
it
way
now
over.
8,000 instead of um 15 or 12,000. So this is what when we got ours, Patrick. It was at 7,000. So it's only up $1,000 from when we got ours. But now it's so much more capable. When we got it, the car couldn't do cruise control, or well, no, it could do cruise control, but it couldn't do the lane changes like my AP1 car could do, or
Hmm.
anything that we know of today. And now the thing is like a really okay teen driver.
Yeah.
Yeah. EAP is gone. You can no longer purchase enhanced autopilot uh, with a new vehicle. However,
Mm.
if you do have enhanced autopilot and you go to the upgrade section either on your MCU screen or in your phone app, you can now go from EAP to full self driving for just $2,000. Although, if you have an older car with an autopilot 2.5 or 2.0 computer, you will have to give them the new price. So in Canada now it's up to $1,500, and in the US I still think it's $1,000. You will have to get your autopilot computer upgraded to rent it, but I think that $2,000 will include the computer upgrade, won't it?
I think so. If you purchase it, you get the computer
So say
upgrade.
$500 in Canada. Just buy it.
Yeah.
Buy. That's what Pat. Well, no, he doesn't even have AP. AP. He has cruise control. Um,
For
right?
Mark.
Yeah. I don't think
Yes, sir.
because AP was made free. Like the basic keep it in the lane was made free long after he bought his car.
Hmm.
Yeah.
I'm
Sorry.
wondering how much it would cost me to purchase this on my 3 that I've transferred FSD off of.
Right?
So
Just
I'm
put it
going to
back
look
for
now
West.
just to. Yeah, I was thinking it would be the full 8,000, but maybe it's not.
Maybe not. That'd be cool if they give you the enhanced price.
Yeah, I might buy it right now on live on
Hmm.
the air.
Right? Well, while Patrick looks that up, let's look at this last article we've got here. I previewed it here by being on that screen. The Model S, X, and Y have received new round of price adjustments in the U.S. So not the Model 3, but at the same time, they just redid the Model 3, and they still haven't like ramped it all the way. So if you were expecting discounts on the Model 3 beyond the demo cars, which they're still using, then you were kind of living in Fantasyland. Just say that.
It's the full 8,000, so
Fully
I'm not going to buy it. Yep,
those
which
jokers.
makes sense. Yeah.
Yes. It says here the last chat. Yes, exactly. That is why the HOAs really exist. um,
Yep. They figured
Unfortunately,
out the mystery. It was quite the
I
puzzle.
didn't make hard. Yes. So, yes, if you were looking for an S, X, or Y, go to the website and check inventory, check the custom builds, and figure out what you want and what's available because it's now cheaper. But this is what we keep saying, like, if you see it and it's what you want and it's in the budget, get it now. Because if you had done that
Mhm.
on what, Thursday or Friday after we did the show, your price went up to full price and your FSD was $12,000. But then at the same time, if you on Saturday or today, the price is down $2,000 and the FSD is down $4,000. But we don't know what they're going to do next, especially now that a certain individual is taking more direct control instead of wasting time on X. And it's a very
Yes.
mercurial individual, so
Yes. Volatility is part of the equation here.
yes, it is.
Yep.
That's not to say that that something better isn't coming along. There's always something better coming along. But say you were somebody who really appreciates the stocks. I don't really care about the drive and reverse stock, but I did find that I prefer the turn signal stock to the buttons.
Hmm.
It won't stop me from getting a new vehicle when my budget allows, but it doesn't mean I won't prefer being able to do it with my pinky rather than having to spend any amount of thought to where the wheel is going. Obviously, on the Cybertruck, it's not so bad because you don't actually take your hand off of so it'd always be your left
Hmm.
hand. But um, say you get the round wheel on the X, the thing can go almost three turns, and so you got to keep track of where the thing is if you're going to signal in a turn.
Right.
Yep.
Yeah, it's too bad that they didn't keep the stocks until they had drive-by-wire, where they could do the I don't know how do you less rotation of the wheel.
Like a variable steering ratio, at least.
Yes, which is like you were just talking about with the Cybertruck. It doesn't go around three times. It goes
Exactly.
around
75% of the way.
340 degrees, not a full circle or whatever the
Yeah.
numbers are.
Exactly.
Hmm.
Yeah, and that would have been the best time to bring out the yoke too, rather than. I mean, it
Yeah,
looks cool and it's fun to use, but they would have had a lot less pushback if it was a steer by wire or a super variable ratio yoke
exactly.
versus having to walk it back.
And
Like that
yeah,
was
this gets to what you were saying before, is that's the vision, is you get there with both of those things, and instead of staging them, they just go as fast as they can, and it happened to be that the wrong one was the easier one to do first.
right. And then to do it that way, though, you also ended up with a case where, as a stockholder, now like how much waste was involved in that? Because now you had to engineer a wheel. They didn't have a
Hmm.
wheel for the Palladium cars. They had to make one. And then one that I do agree that they did fix, and they're doing the right thing by the customers by swapping you out for free. If you have a wheel or a yoke with the horn button, you can get your Tesla Service Center to replace that with a wheel or a yoke. The same one, they won't change you without the fee, but the same one uh, for free. And now your horn is in the center, and what used to be your
Yes.
little is now to pop up the cameras.
Oh, good.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's a good improvement.
I agree. All right, so I want to thank everybody for your time today. I want to thank our channel members for your monetary compensation. It helps run all the bills that this thing generates because, yeah, I could do the free stuff, but I feel it's a little nicer, right? And then we will catch you on Monday on the Tesla Life Express and on Wednesday for the Tesla Life Live. And then, oh, I'm not done talking.
You went blue for a second there.
So, yeah, we'll catch you on those live shows, and then again back here next week. And then I'm gonna talk to Patrick after the ending stuff, and then he's gonna help me hopefully refine what I'm thinking, and then at some point soon I'll be able to tell you guys what we're talking about. So catch you soon.
Cool.
Let's hit
Bye,
this button.
everybody.
Oh
yeah.
Test negative.
You can check me out on carswithcords.net, where I blog about my future free from fossil fuels.
That's right, baby. And on X, you're FFF.
Yes. 3 F's fossil fuels.
I like it.
F fossil fuels.
All right. I'll talk to you soon, Patrick. And then everybody else, we'll talk to you next week.